When Republicans talk about their concerns in this country, it's usually, except for the extremists that are cuckoo, because both sides have them, let's be real, but usually the average Republican, it's coming from a place of, well, this is what I saw with my own eyes. This is what's happening. This has been proven, so I think it's going to happen here, this, that, and the third. 9 out of 10 times, it's coming from a place of logic, reasoning, with something to back it up that's actually substantial. And a huge reason that I left the Democrat Party, and so many others did too, is because their points of views and speeches and opinions a lot of the time comes from nothing substantial and a hypothetical. Like, I've seen Harry, Dean, Parker do debates all the time, and the one common ground that they all have is that most of their platform is speaking in hypotheticals when they debate. Oh, well, this could happen. Oh, well, millions of this could be affected. And then 95% of the time, it doesn't. And instead of retracting what they said before, they'll just go on to the next one. And that's most of the left platform. Remember just a few months ago, you told everyone that women weren't going to be able to vote if they got married? What happened to that? Because as far as I know, women are still voting. You told us that there was going to be a federal abortion ban and millions of women were just going to die. What happened to that? You told us we'd go into a miserable recession. That didn't happen. You told us that the middle class was about to lose their 401ks and their entire life savings because of the stock market dipping. But what do you know? That was, 12 hours long? And now the market's actually the highest it's ever been on record. So that didn't happen. Then you said Trump was going to cause wars, and he's actually solving multiple of them. So that didn't happen. You told us Iran was going to strike back and cause World War III. That didn't happen. You told us a few years ago, when no one could afford to even breathe, that the president doesn't control all of the economy, but here we are now when the economy is booming in record-breaking ways. Oh no, that's because of Biden's old policies. You told us that the reason that so many kids and innocent people died in Texas was because of Trump's cuts and the mass firings, but then it got confirmed and debunked by the National Weather Service that they were actually overstaffed for the whole event and sent out more alerts than they usually would have. So that didn't happen. You told us gay people were going to be at risk and he was going to undo gay marriage laws. When's that happening? Has Trump even mentioned that yet? At all? The illegal immigration part, I mean, you guys have moved like this day to day. Let's go down the timeline because I remember it vividly. They're still in my comment sections. Digital footprint is forever. First, your issue was that Trump was doing deportations. That was your main concern, was that innocent people are getting deported, they're being ripped from their families, no one's illegal on stolen land. That was your thing. Then we show you here, this is the law, this is what happens, and every past president has done the same thing. And if you didn't say anything then, you probably shouldn't be saying anything now because it makes you a hypocrite. Then you backtracked because you realized there was an argument you could give to say, well, they're not getting due process. Then it's proven again, well, 85% of Obama's deportations also didn't get due process. Actually, over 10,000 young kids were deported under Biden without ever having a day in court. Again, minors, without their family. And you guys said nothing. So when we tell you that, then it's, oh, well, it's not due process. It's the humanity. It's the way that ICE is doing it. And then we show you they're not doing anything that they haven't done before. If they're taking extra careful steps, it's because you guys are shooting at them and bombing their car. But again, they're not doing anything fundamentally different than they did before. Then at that you can't argue, so you say stop backtracking. We're living in now. We're talking about now. Do two wrongs make a right? Trump says he's going to cut excessive funding in the government, and you guys say, well, people are going to lose their jobs, their homes, their lives, their health care, this, that, and the third. Then he says, okay, I'm going to replace it with something better. Let me spend the money on it. Oh, look, he's wasting our tax dollars. He's wasting money. Then you said millions of elderly people and disabled people were going to lose their health care. That's not true. There are many exceptions, and you don't even have to work. Volunteer also counts. As for the 20-hour a week of work, Clinton did the same thing. He passed the same exact reform bill. You guys applauded it. You said it would help the government with their excessive spending because it did. We had fiscally responsible spending. Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, they weren't being abused because of the bill he signed in 1996, which is almost verbatim to Trump's big, beautiful bill now. And when it gets debunked that disabled and elderly won't lose their health care, you just move on to the next topic. You don't apologize for scaring innocent people like that. I could go on and on and on with 100 more examples of horrible things you guys said would happen and they didn't, or things you're upset about but just happened 5 years ago or 4 years ago, or maybe even 1 or 2 years ago, and you said squat. And that's why when you argue, well, it's about empathy and human right, people aren't really listening to you. Because although you might see us as having no empathy at all, at least our morals have remained consistent. Your empathy just popped up out of the blue once Trump was inaugurated. Then all of a sudden you had all of these concerns for empathy and human rights, because if you had them before, you would have had issues before too. It's the lack of trust. It's the boy who cried wolf. It's the selective and performative outrage. It's exhausting. It's irritating. It's distasteful. I say it all the time, but I'm gonna say it again. If you want to make productive change in this country, you need to pick a fight and stay consistent with it. Stay strong in it. Continue it. When you're changing your fight every day, people feel scrambled and thrown around like a ping pong ball. And then they stop listening because that gets tiring. Especially when you don't even follow up when those things you were fighting for don't even happen. You don't apologize for the false outrage. You don't apologize for the false fear. You just find the next thing to be mad at Trump about and then get mad at other people when they're not mad with you. When you were wrong about the first 12 things. So it's hard to believe that the 13th one, that's going to be the one that they're right about. As soon as you start understanding that, you will start gaining the Republican support when things don't go the normal way. But until then, we're going to stay in this toxic two-party system that truthfully doesn't give a shit about any one of us. You guys talk all this talk about draining the oligarchy and stop the funding of millionaires and billionaires. They're ruining our lives. They're ruining our world. There are more billionaires on the left than in the right. The Democratic Party gets significantly more money than the Republican Party every single year from the people you are claiming to want to drain. So do you actually want to drain them? Or do you want to keep them because they agree with you? Pick a moral compass, stay consistent, find where you fit and what you're most passionate about, and run with it. But the constant changing, it's nauseating. It gives people vertigo. And then you get mad when they don't vote for you. And unfortunately, yes, that means that some people might trust Trump a little bit more than they trust you. And that's not because Trump is some beautiful God. It's because you're insufferable. And instead of coming to terms with that, you just start blaming us for that too. I'm not saying the Republican Party is perfect by any means. We have our shit every single day. Corruption, lies, manipulation, fear-monger, the list goes on. Both parties are guilty of this. But at least the normal ones are consistent. And you guys aren't.